For my Leap1, I chose a podcast I often listen to called Crime Junkie. It's one of the most popular true crime podcasts in the world, with millions of downloads per episode and a passionate listener community. Hosted by Ashley Flowers and Britt Pawat, the show covers one case per episode, combining clear narration, suspenseful pacing, and emotional engagement. Episodes range from solved cases to unsolved mysteries, and the hosts position themselves not just as storytellers, but as advocates, encouraging listeners to share information that could help solve cases. This mix of storytelling, advocacy, and brand building makes Crime Junkie a fascinating subject for media analysis. Crime Junkie positions itself as both an engaging entertainment product and a force for awareness and justice. This dual identity makes it appear trustworthy and ethical, but it also raises questions about representation, responsibility, and just how much of their advocacy is tied to sustaining a profitable business model. To understand why this podcast is so compelling, it's important to first consider why audiences are drawn to true crime in the first place. The appeal of true crime stems from a mix of curiosity, suspense, and emotional connection. Audiences are drawn to the puzzle of what happened, the drama of real-life stories, and the human experience behind them. They seek resolution, justice, and a sense of understanding. This growing appetite has created a massive market. Crime Junkie knows this well. Its episodes are carefully crafted to meet those desires. They combine clear narration, dramatic pacing, and conversational tone that makes listeners feel part of the investigation. Ashley and Britt intentionally balance suspense with empathy, giving the audience a reason to return each week. Their purpose goes beyond retelling cases. They aim to keep listeners engaged, and they do so by fostering a sense of connection to the stories. True crime raises questions of morality because it turns deeply personal and traumatic stories into public entertainment. Critics argue that it risks exploiting victims and sensationalizing violence. Crime Junkie addresses these concerns by framing its work as more than entertainment. They present themselves as advocates, giving victims a voice and suggesting their episodes could help solve cases. This moral framing strengthens their credibility and aligns with audience values, but it also functions as part of their branding. It appeals to listeners who want entertainment that feels purposeful. This intentional framing shapes both how listeners perceive the podcast and how the creators position their own work. When taking a look at the production of Crime Junkie, the structure of each episode is very deliberate. Ashley narrates the case directly to Britt, who often hears it for the very first time. Britt's genuine reactions, questions, shock, and empathy mirror how listeners might respond themselves, turning the episode into a conversation rather than a lecture. This creates immersion and involvement, making audiences feel that they are part of the story. Suspenseful pauses, background music, and careful pacing add emotional weight and authenticity. Beyond the structure, Crime Junkie integrates advocacy by critiquing law enforcement failures and systematic injustice. They also collaborate with victims' families and donate to crime prevention efforts. These choices build credibility, but they also deepen loyalty, drive downloads, and sustain revenue. Advocacy and business in this case operate hand in hand. Crime Junkie reflects values of empathy, awareness, and advocacy, but those values are inseparable from its commercial strategy. The podcast presents listening as purposeful, framing the audience not just as consumers of stories, but as participants in justice. This framing gives listeners moral permission to indulge in fascination with crime while feeling their engagement serves a much higher purpose. At the same time, Crime Junkie's success reveals the cultural ideology around true crime. Audiences seek both connection to victims and the thrill of suspense. The show positions itself as a safe middle ground between advocacy and entertainment. This balance drives loyalty, ads, Patreon support, and live shows, showing that moral responsibility and profitability are not separate goals, but can be intertwined to shape the brand. Crime Junkie demonstrates how media can blur the line between storytelling, advocacy, and business. Its strategies make it both compelling and profitable, but they raise the question, are listeners truly drawn by the pursuit of justice or by a story carefully designed to satisfy fascination while sustaining a brand?